My boss was a tuck your shirt in Nazi, among other things, so I figured out a loophole. I posted this story years ago, but it just occurred to me it would fit in well with this sub. For a little background, I used to work in a call center selling vacations for a major hotel chain. My boss was a huge douche. All he did all day long was walk around and make sure everyone had their shirt tucked in, and generally be a negative prick who everyone hated. No customers ever saw us, and we were secluded from every other department because we were really loud. If you have ever worked in outbound sales, you know what I mean. There was literally no reason to tuck in shirts, but the boss for some reason thought this would help us sell better. I was the top salesman on night shift, and third overall in the company. It didn't help at all, so I come into work on my birthday, and my friend runs up to me and yells redditing while workin', "Happy birthday!" right in front of my boss's office. He looks up and says redditing while workin'. I'm thinking he's going to say happy birthday since he no doubt heard her. Instead he said, "Yeah, go ahead and tuck your shirt in K," and he does the hand signal like he's tucking in an imaginary shirt. So, I say okay, no prob, I just have to put my stuff down really quick and I'll take care of it. So, I walk over to my desk, which takes about 7 seconds to get to. I go to put my stuff down, and as I am he comes up behind me again and says, "Hey, I said to tuck in your shirt." So, I quickly tuck it in, and as he's walking literally right by me I say, "Sorry, I just had to put my stuff down first," and he walks by like I never said a word. Immediately, I bust out my HR manual, and check out the rule on tucked in shirts. Turns out you must tuck in all shirts except a Hawaiian shirt or a Guayabera shirt. So right after work I take my ass to Walmart, and buy 10 of those duckers, and wear the most obnoxious Hawaiian looking shirt the next day. The second I walked in, he looked me up and down, glared, turned around and walked away. When everyone asked why I was wearing such a ridiculous shirt, I told them about the loophole, and within a week half my office was wearing Hawaiian shirts. It drove my boss crazy. All within the guidelines outlined by company policy. As an update to the story from the last time I posted it, the boss eventually got fired for getting a blowjob from one of the girls in the call center while he was in his office. I had already moved on to another company by then, but when I heard, I got a nice chuckle out of it. Now to the comments. Can't tuck in your shirt if you don't wear pants. Check and mate. But they could make you tuck your shirt into your boxers. There must be some other way. Can't tuck in your shirt if you don't wear pants or boxers. Check and mate. Why were Hawaiian shirts not part of the tuck-in rule? Seems kind of appropriate, but still kind of odd. OP replied. Apparently Hawaiian and Guayabera shirts are designed not to be tucked in. Maybe the person who wrote the policy must have liked those shirts. Beats me, but it was awesome. In Hawaii, men's business wear is a pressed Hawaiian shirt with a pair of slacks. The shirts can be worn either tucked in, untucked. Either way, the person who wrote that rule was clearly doing the Lord's work. Edit to add, the blowjob itself wasn't the problem, he was actually fired for violating the dress code while receiving it. Belt unbuckled, with pants and drawers at ankles, presents an extremely unprofessional demeanor. OP replied. If only there was a blowjob loophole in the HR handbook. I went to a private high school that required you tuck in shirts and I hated it. I discovered that the shirts that are even at the bottom came untucked really easily, then looked at my other shirts and realized the shirts that are even at the bottom are not meant to be tucked in. I brought this up to the principal after I was sent to his office for not tucking in my shirt, and I explained to him it's not only in poor taste to tuck in this style of shirts, but they don't stay tucked because they were not designed with that in mind. I also stated that it was actually messing with the threading and ruining my shirts, which upset my mom. He agreed and put out an announcement the next day. Loophole achieved. Half the school followed suit, and the dress code only got laxer after that. OP replied. You are a pioneer, my dude. I hope your school appreciated you. I was in a graduating class of 12 out of 13 people, maybe 100 people total in a K-12. I was appreciated. Very nicely done. Often, management will use the employee manual to be a pain in the ass, but I'd encourage everyone to read theirs and find ways to win. Technically, my work dress code doesn't say I can't dye my hair pink. Now you're getting it? My school had a dress code and wouldn't let boys grow their hair past their ears, but said nothing about color. I bleached that shit then watched while all the administration seethed in anger. I didn't know what a Guayabera shirt was, so I did a Google image search. The top 50 results were of untucked shirts except for one picture of Johnny Depp. I also had to look up this human garment. I mean normal garment. R/totally not robots. I thought you were going to say you started wearing crop tops and you couldn't tuck it in. This sounds much more satisfying though. I'm actually kinda impressed your boss knew and respected the handbook enough to not tell you to tuck in your Hawaiian shirt. OP replied. I'm surprised you are the first person to notice that. People pointed it out when I posted this 5 years ago. It actually was pretty dang impressive. A boss that big of an a-hole will always know the rules inside out. Yeah, but is your shirt tucked in as you write this? OP replied. I'm homesick from work and I have no pants on. Go on. Dress for the job you want and not the one you have. Don't know too many people who don't want jobs in Hawaii. Was her shirt tucked in while giving the blow gibber? Gibber is always my preferred nomenclature. An act of lust shouldn't sound laborious. If you do what you love, it'll never feel like a job. Do companies really have that detailed a handbook? That's actually hilarious. I'm scared I'll end up breaking a really complicated / specific rule because of not knowing about it and getting in trouble though. OP replied. Duck it, it's been enough years, it was deleted, and yes their handbook was that detailed. Edit, my wife convinced me to take the hotel chain out, probably for the best. Oh, I just realized maybe it was only that detailed because there were actually people talking to clients, you know, like maybe they could have a separate handbook for you guys that aren't seen by customers that is a little bit more lenient. I doubt they'd care though, haha. R/the untuckables. I had a boss who only wanted us to wear collared shirts. Denver winter can get pretty dang cold, so I started wearing some sweaters the owner of the company actually gave me. He lost his shit. I told him look at the HR manual. He said he knows what it said. So I read it to him. It specifically stated collared shirts or sweaters. So, he tells me that means collared sweaters, lol. I told him if I ever find one, I'll buy it. He goes to the owner. The owner comes and said yeah I bought him that shirt, and his face got super red. OP replied. LOL, that's awesome, wish I could have seen his face. This story sounds particularly fitting for a sub I know of. I'll be interested to learn how he managed to accomplish that fireable offense with his shirt tucked in. OP replied. Logistically speaking, it's possible he whipped it out through his fly, though I feel that would make it tough to give proper attention to the balls. This may have to go down as one of the great unsolved mysteries of our time. Judging by how his guy acts, I would imagine there would be plenty of room for the balls to fit too.